Yo, we are live on YouTube, brother. Yo, what do you call it? I wanted to start off by saying... Why are you laughing? Sorry. Now we have to do this over. Damn it. You ruined it.
What's up, man?
All right, cool. I think it's live. We're live. Okay. Greg's ready. Yo, so I wanted to let everybody know our schedule for the October season is up on nightmare365.com. Check that out. All of our weekday weirds are obviously every Wednesday. We're not doing a weekday weird for Halloween, though.
Because we'll be
doing
live on Halloween.
Live on Halloween. We have Michael Boylan from Alone in the Dark podcast, as well as Halloween author Lizzie Borden on. Some of the episodes you could find. We have today, obviously, a good one. Next week we have, or October 14th, we're doing one on Scream.
Yes.
And then the 24th, we are talking with Kenny from the Myers House NC. So that should be a good one. I don't know if you're going to be there for that one.
Yeah, I don't know, depending on my work schedule.
So we'll see about that one. So I just wanted to let people know about that. And
also, Matt will be dressing up on Halloween.
Of course I will. What do you want me to just, my normal suspenders, hey, this t-shirt I'm wearing now?
No. I want the full regalia.
Regalia?
Yeah, I want the full
So you don't like this?
I want the full wolf costume with the sunglasses.
Do you like this shirt from Fright Rags?
I do.
I'm wearing the Teen Wolf Fright Rag shirt that they just recently put out. They launched.
Do they have a costume of the Teen Wolf, like the Beavers 42?
I mean, I have the jersey and the shorts.
Yeah.
But I don't have like anything else. I would have to wear the werewolf makeup and stuff like that.
That would be great.
Yo, we're almost close to 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, please subscribe.
Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast,
just subscribe. We don't put anything out that, we just put the Weekday Weirds, the podcast.
We're going to do some spooky videos. I have coming this October, I have a video that I shot in Sleepy Hollow in the cemetery. So I'll have a little narrative, maybe. I don't know. Do you want me to talk in that video? I'll just post that. They'll see. So that's coming in October.
Yeah, but go subscribe.
Yeah, we need subscribers, man. I want to reach that 100 by Halloween. That was my goal. But
I want to reach 200.
By Halloween?
Yeah.
No, come on.
If everyone that listens to this podcast subscribes,
we would be well over that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So if you do enjoy this, yeah, because our podcast can be found on YouTube as well.
And you can watch us
beat the shit out of each other.
We almost did on the DB Cooper episode.
Yeah, you didn't like. Greg was a little frustrated that night. All day
it was Kenny Christensen.
You're very passionate about it.
Yeah.
We might have to revisit that episode. Would you ever want to do that again?
Sure.
Cool. We'll do that. So today's topic is Case File 38, Lizzie Borden. And I think we're going to take a deep look into this dark past when Lizzie Borden was accused of a double murder of her father, Andrew, and stepmother, Abby Borden, on a hot day in August of 1892. Welcome to Nightmare 365.
This is the center of weirdness for the entire planet.
There's tons of unsolved mysteries out there. Witches still exist.
What about monsters?
Do you believe in ghosts?
Bigfoot is not out there.
Bigfoot is definitely out there. UFOs are real.
UFOs might be real.
Do you believe in conspiracies?
I consider myself a conspiracy theorist.
I want to believe in all these case files.
Trust no one. The government lies to you.
We're just two brothers exploring the unexplained, mysterious, and spookiness that lives among us. So Case File 38, brother.
Center of weirdness.
Center of weirdness. This is the Nightmare 365 podcast. Anyway, so Case File 38. This is a strange one. This is an unsolved mystery that's been dated back to 1892. Lizzie Borden, I'm sure everybody is familiar with the name. Do you know the nursery rhyme, as they call it?
Yes, you were singing it before the show.
Did you enjoy that one?
I did enjoy you singing it. Why don't you sing it for the people?
All right, I'm going to sing it. So
this should be great.
Not if everybody's heard it.
No, this should be great.
Yeah, but can you recite it? Do you remember this as a kid?
No.
Like this rhyme?
I only remember the first part.
That's true.
I don't remember anything else after that.
I don't remember, I'm trying to think too, when did we learn about something like this? Because I can't even pinpoint the time, but I remember people singing this. and I don't know how this like caught on, but I'll play a little music behind it. You ready?
This should be great.
Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. You like that?
Is it remember that movie Michael J. Fox, The Frighteners? Was it in that movie?
I guess it's sort of similar. Yeah, I don't remember. I actually have the VHS on the table.
I wonder if it was in that movie.
Crap.
Because that's where I remember it from.
Really?
I think, yeah.
That was a good movie.
That was a good movie.
I think it's an underrated movie.
The Frighteners.
The Frighteners.
I think it was in that movie.
Probably because it was like an axe murder.
Yeah.
And he got caught. But this is where like myth and like legends and all this other stuff kind of take over with, the whole mystery behind, Lizzie Borden and like murders and stuff. And here's one thing that I really wanted to like talk to you and like start it off with.
Okay.
Is this is not like the first murder that happened, like a double murder. This is not like something like why this one gets more play than something that happened probably like a year or two afterwards of the same, like kind of degree of craziness to the case. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Because if you ever watch like the Dateline episodes,
I never watched those.
you never watched those, like where
No.
like the unsolved murders, and then like they piece together like what happened, like somebody died, and they're like, all right, this person's been accused of this, and they're piecing the puzzle. Some of them go unsolved, some of them are solved right away.
The only ones I've seen are on like the Netflix, like How to Catch a Serial Killer, right? Or How to Catch a Murderer, whatever one of those are.
There's all these shows, and this is not like the first thing that that's happened in history like this. But
no, but like it's dating back a while, and they didn't think at that time like women or girls were capable of doing something like this.
Yeah, this is at a time of, I guess, properness, like the Victorian era and things like that, and they didn't think women were capable of doing this. And it's one of those mysteries, and it's still a B&B, when you can go up there, because you can visit the house, and I'll pull it up because they have their own website, Lizzie Borden. Well, like there's a hyphen in between Borden and then .com. You could just type in like the Lizzie Borden B&B. They have their own website and social media pages, but you could stay the night there.
Would you stay the night?
Hell yeah, man. I would.
Would you bring an axe?
There's a hatchet there.
I know, but like I would bring one of my own just in case.
I don't know if the
Somebody
people
came
would
in.
allow that.
I don't tell them. Just put it in your suitcase.
I have an extra axe just in case.
Just in case somebody comes in.
They have like Lizzie Borden games. They have like the site map. You could just like look at all the different rooms. So there's tons of different rooms that they have named here that you can look in the history. So I just thought this was a cool website, which I'll share in our show notes too. But I guess
Did you think she was hot looking?
I mean, most of those people in like the later part of the 1800s,
Yeah.
like just their photos. I mean, just imagine like sitting for a long period of time. But no, I wouldn't say she's terrible looking.
Okay.
But I don't know. Some of the photos are like gruesome. Like that photo's not too generous of her.
Well,
like
no.
her sister. Do you like her sister better?
That looks like a dude.
That's her, and that's her sister.
Yeah. Looks like a dude.
Yeah. So the one picture, she doesn't look that bad. Other pictures, who knows? But so this case, 1892. Let's kind of set the stage. It's in August. It's a warm summer day, right? But
warm summer day.
It is August 4th, 1892, and it's in Fall River, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
How far away was that where you went to school? Was that close? I don't know exactly where that Fall River is.
I mean, not too far. Let me look it up. I think it's like 40 minutes away from where I went.
So everybody knows the name Lizzie Borden, and she was accused of killing her stepmother and father on that day of August 4th, 1892, in a gruesome way. Like when the skulls are still there. I don't know who has the skulls. I don't know if they're at the house. I totally forgot. I didn't even think about to look that up. But
all right, so it was an hour and basically 100 miles away.
Where? North or like west?
So it's like directly south of Boston.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
like right, near New Bedford.
So it's close to Boston. Now set the time period too. Like from everything that I read on Andrew Borden, everybody considered him like a penny pincher. And even in like the B&B, they have like by his portrait like some change. And supposedly if you take some of that change away,
He'll get pissed.
Yeah, stuff happens. So, but he was a wealthy gentleman at the time, and a lot of people speculate that his daughters were kind of pissed.
Yeah,
because they were living in almost, I wouldn't say like in poverty, but like they were living well below their needs. Like instead of having the house on the hill, which they dreamed of.
Yeah.
And they were older, I guess, women at the time. They were 30s, which I don't think they were both married. Like Lizzie was definitely not married.
No,
she never got married.
Yeah, she never got married.
And that was kind of uncommon at the time. Like by the time you were 30, you probably have 3-4 kids and you were married and, had some of your family wealth and all that kind of good stuff. So to set the stage, that's kind of like the era that they were living in. They were living in a decent part of River Fall, right? But like more with the working class and not on top of like the hill, where like all the prominent people of the society were. And we know Andrew Borden had enough money to be able to afford a house, but I guess he was just
well, yeah, that's one of the motivations people think of why they did it.
Yeah.
Or why she did it.
Ooh, they.
Well, I'm just saying.
Is that one of the theories coming up?
No, I have a bunch, but no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have some good ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, so during this time, it was Lizzie and her sister Emma living in the household at the time, with also their stepmother, Abby.
Correct. Which they speculate that Lizzie didn't like that much.
True. And her real mother, Sarah, died when she was very young. And then her husband, Andrew, remarried to Abby. And one of the things, too, supposedly in speculation, was that Andrew gave kind of Abby and her family money and a house.
Yeah, he basically put it in the will that if like he died, she would get like his inheritance.
Yeah. So that's a big key.
So that's like another motivation, you can say.
Right. For the family, whoever's in the family.
Correct.
And so now we know like kind of a little bit of backstory. I don't know how much, because you can go watch tons of videos and there's plenty of, information out there, especially with the B&B website, the LizzieBorden.com, like on Wikipedia has pretty good information on it and things like that. But so to set the stage, these are the people that are living in the house. They had a maid too at the time.
Correct.
Bridget, or they called her Maggie Sullivan. She was the maid. And obviously they had a house guest at the time too. Like a couple days before the actual murders.
The
uncle, John Morse, who was obviously Sarah's brother, was visiting at the time. Right before the murders, so that's also speculation too.
Yeah, he was like one of the other suspects.
Yeah,
but never got put on trial.
Why he actually came to the house too. So those are the people that were living in the house during that time. You had the two sisters, Lizzie and Emma. Obviously the husband and wife, Andrew and Abby. You had the maid who was living on the top quarters of the bunk. It's kind of cool because if you look online, there's a lot of like layouts and videos of the house. So it's kind of cool. And most of the reconstruction when they did it,
yeah,
they kind of kept it up, I guess, as much as possible.
Just like the Myers house.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. And I didn't know this, which I saw in one of the videos, that there's a courthouse right across the street now. That's where, what's his face from the Patriots who killed his friend?
Hernandez. Yeah. Aaron Hernandez?
Yeah, it was like in court
arraigned.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It was like a day or two, I think, but which I didn't know now because there's tons of videos. I watched, I wanted to get the whole layout of the house and look at it too. So
yeah,
So at the time, right, Andrew Borden goes out for like a morning stroll to do some business, conductor in the town, and the girls are home with the maid and also Abby. And Abby, I guess since John was sleeping in the one room at the time and upstairs, right above the staircase, she said she was going to go clean it up, and she kind of ordered the maid, Maggie, to go clean the windows.
Yeah, wash the windows outside.
Right. And there's a couple things. I'm going to backtrack a little bit, but give you like this scenario. And then we know in the morning now Abby is murdered in that upstairs room while she's cleaning, right?
Correct. Like around
They say about 9:30.
9:30, between 9:30 and 10:30.
Yeah. They don't know the exact time, but right
Correct.
around there. So, and Andrew was still out, on his morning business, his walk. And they were both older at the time, too. I think he was 70 years old when he actually, died of his injuries that day. But he comes back to the house about, I think it was like an hour, a little over an hour later.
Yes.
Comes in. Supposedly, here's where conflicting things, come in. We don't know because supposedly Lizzie did talk to him. And then because he did ask where Abby was, his wife, and she said, she received a note from an ill friend that she had to go visit. And some people say like that didn't happen, or later she said, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of conflicting reports here too, depending on who you talk to and what you read. But he like sat down in kind of like the sofa to take a nap.
There you
and
go.
Then a little while later, he was dead, found.
Yeah, and also at the time, like the maid was outside cleaning the window. She heard like almost like a laughter upstairs.
Well, yeah, when Andrew came back to the house,
Correct.
the front door was not locked, but there was something jammed in the lock, and he couldn't get it open. And when the maid Maggie came to see, and this is from her testimony, and she said that when she was trying to like find out what's wrong, she's like, I can't let you in. I don't know. It's locked. And then she heard giggling. Supposedly,
Correct.
She said
upstairs.
it was Lizzie.
Yeah, she said, it was almost like Lizzie was playing upstairs.
Yeah.
Which is like, imagine that, like hacking up somebody, laughing.
Well, yeah. Now that's kind of the stage, right? We know these two people died. They were hacked to death.
Well, so like getting back to the father though, so he was sleeping like on like the sofa, like a leather sofa.
Yeah.
And that's where it happened.
Yeah, if you look online too, all you have to do is type in Lizzie Borden, and you could see like the crime scene photos.
You would hope like the first axe like knocked him out.
Well, yeah, and then getting back
41 whacks
No,
with
no,
an
no.
axe.
Well, that's not true. See, that's where like the myth.
I know, but I'm just saying like
No, yeah, he actually supposedly was hit 11 times, and his wife Abby was hit. Here's the thing: a lot of like if you look on Wikipedia, it says 19 times, I believe. But, if you go actually into the B&B and some of the historians, they say 18. So roughly around 20.
Yeah,
20
roughly
hits.
20.
Now,
But see, like, here's like the thing, though. This is where, do you think people just made it up where they each got like 40 whacks just because?
yeah, it's a rhyme, right?
I know, but like, come on. Like
It's
20 and 20, like just say, I don't know.
Gave her
But
mother
that's where
20
like,
whacks.
see, that's where like myths and legends and everything like starts to build, though.
Well, yeah.
Like, and I think that's when you ask that first, when you open up the podcast of like why this became such notorious is because of like stuff like that. It gets embellished.
Yeah, it does. And that was right after like this all happened, and to kind of set the stage, like the stage now, supposedly Lizzie now comes into the room with her father.
Correct.
And like screams and yells like, Maggie, come quick. Somebody has broken in and killed father.
Well, yeah, and getting to that point, right? They were known around town as always locking their doors. Like they were diligent, to lock their doors.
Well, yeah, especially with who he was.
Correct.
He was like a penny pincher. He wanted everything like neat and proper. And
so, and when the police started to do the investigation, there was no signs of forced entry in the house, as well as there was nothing missing.
True. Which that begs the question then, right? Like why would a robber come in or whoever did this
And not take anything?
not take anything and also wait around for at least an hour
Without anyone seeing that person
Right,
in the house?
with so many people? Like, I mean, it's not like there was 20 people in the house,
but
but
like-
there was a decent amount of people in the house. Even if they were sleeping or in the back, like, where is this person going to hide in the closet and then just come out and like kill this other person?
I mean, that is possible, but you would see that person leaving
True.
and coming.
Yeah.
And one of the neighbors that was in her testimony didn't see anybody coming or going from the house.
Well, also you have to think about like, all right, if you hit somebody and supposedly like the motive or the weapon that was used, not the motive, but the weapon that was used was a hatchet.
Yeah.
And I mean, they, I guess, looked at it because of the skull. And here's another fucked up thing about this whole scenario. After they were buried out, supposedly they were dug up and like their skulls were taken, like their heads, and because their skulls are actually,
That's where actually the legend of Sleepy Hollow was born.
No, it wasn't.
I know, but that would be cool though.
It would be cool. But that's funny. The Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
The Headless Bordens.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Which is kind of cool because if you go to the cemetery, there's white arrows that lead to their, plot. So it's a big thing up there. I guess it's good for the town.
Yeah, I mean, like anywhere.
Like Sleepy Hollow or Salem,
or Haddonfield.
Haddonfield, New Jersey?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff down there?
No, but that would be funny if there was.
That would actually be a pretty cool thing. What if we did something like that?
What do you mean?
Like started like a B&B and just...
In Haddonfield?
Yeah, made the Myers house.
Well, again, when he comes on.
Yeah, when Kenny comes on.
Just ask him for the blueprint. We'll all right. We'll do it up.
I'll see how he feels about that. How about we make a B&B? That would actually be pretty cool.
That would be.
I wonder how many people... I mean, it's not like where it was filmed or anything, but it's the town.
Because it was in Haddonfield, Illinois, right?
Yeah, but like where they got the inspiration, Deborah Hill got it from New Jersey, from the town Haddonfield.
And Voorhees.
Still exists, and they're right next to each other, Voorhees. So there you go. You could have a tie-in with Friday the 13th.
But like, yeah, anywhere there's like a legend or, anything, big, they try to capitalize off it.
Which they did. Obviously, somebody bought the property and turned it into a B&B, like a museum. People can go to tour and talk about it.
I'm surprised they didn't do that with the house on, was it Staten Island? Long Island.
Oh, okay. The Amityville house?
Yeah, the Amityville.
You could have. I mean, it was up for sale for what? When was that? Like 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah.
I think it was up for sale.
Because people started watching people.
That would have been awesome. Well, the house that Lizzie eventually moved in after, her stepmother and her father died was up on the hill.
Correct. Well, after like the stepmother died, the inheritance went to the daughters.
The elders, yeah.
The older daughter.
Emma.
Yep.
And they did, build their house on the hill, which is kind of crazy because that house is still there and it was up for sale recently. I forget. I'm going to try to find it, but I think it wasn't that expensive. It was only like $640 something, So it wasn't like, I'm thinking like it was going to be like $1 million,
yeah,
$1 million plus, but it really wasn't. And it comes fully furnished. So that was kind of cool. The house is really nice. I wouldn't mind, living in that house.
Wouldn't mind living.
But
so let's all right. So let's go through the trial.
Well, do you want to look at the prime suspects first?
Yeah, you can show them out. I mean,
yeah.
Basically, it was Lizzie.
So yeah, let's look at the uncle first, right? The uncle,
correct? Yeah, the uncle
who was there. He showed up days before the murders.
Which he was like a prime suspect just because of the fact that he didn't come around that much.
True, he didn't.
And he shows up days before the murders.
But he did have an airtight alibi.
Well, yeah, the police did say it was so airtight and so detailed. That's why he really wasn't like questioned more.
But that could also be a thing where it's like
he made up too much. Yeah,
right.
That's like one of the theories out there.
Yeah, and he did stay in the guest bedroom,
correct,
where Abby was found.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. Now we come to another person that was actually in the house at the time, or supposedly in and out of the house at the time, which was Bridget, Maggie Sullivan, the maid. And the maid did it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe that one.
Well, yeah, her thing was like, all right, if she killed her employers,
like,
that's who they were.
Yeah, like what is she gonna do now for work? Yeah,
she has nothing.
She has nothing to gain from killing them.
And supposedly she was cleaning the windows, probably when Abby was murdered. Now here's the thing, I know from the layout of the house, depending on which way she went up, right? Because it originally was built as like a 2-family home, so there was a couple
separate staircases.
Yeah, so if you went up that first staircase in the front, you would definitely have saw Abby's body, right?
Correct.
Or if you're inside the house when it happened,
you'd have probably heard.
You would have definitely heard that. Because imagine hitting something like even like 19, 20 times, 18, whatever you want to call it, 18 times. You hit something 18 times.
Yeah, just think about like
the anger, the force, like something had to be there, right?
Well, not only that, but like the sound of like the hatchet hitting the
skull.
bone.
Yeah.
Like
And
how, like what is that? You know how that sounds. Like
she's
when you crack, like when you bash your head or crack your head open, you know how that sounds.
yeah, it sucks.
So
So yeah, and supposedly by the time like the husband Andrew was killed, she was sleeping upstairs, and there was some people that did test like the theory of like just hearing just somebody downstairs, and they said like you could vaguely hear something, but you can't really make it out.
yeah, it said like if you weren't actively like listening for something, and just going about like your normal day, you probably wouldn't hear it.
Yeah, and if you were napping like above, like when Abby was killed, like below you, it's very muffled.
Yeah.
And then especially when you're downstairs now, all the way downstairs, when you're not in like the mage chambers or whatever you want to call it, or bedroom.
Yeah, just picture her like cleaning up like the kitchen or whatever, you know, cleaning stuff that you wouldn't hear anything.
Yeah. So then we have Emma Borden, who was Lizzie's sister, older sister, and she had the most to gain.
She did.
She had the most to gain because she was, I guess, the next inheritance
Yeah,
of
she was next in line.
her father's kind of fortune. And he did have a lot of money. Like this was not something that, you know, as much as he was a penny pincher, he had money. You know, they could have definitely bought like a couple houses, it seemed like. But she also had kind of a good alibi, which I never found in like the research and stuff where exactly she was. It just said like she was miles away at like friends' houses.
Correct. Yeah, it never said exactly what she was doing. Like visiting. It said like visiting friends.
Yeah, and any report that I read, even like on the B&B, like anything, there wasn't too much information. I guess because they didn't really have that much information. So I don't know. And then another one for like number 4 suspect on the list was an unknown, and it was an angry business associate of Andrews.
Correct. Yeah, he owed money to.
Yeah, supposedly a couple days before he had an argument with this gentleman that a couple of people have seen. You know, Lizzie was supposed to see this, and you know, a couple of the family members saw this as well. And he's known as that penny pincher. Maybe he screwed this guy out of some big money, and this guy said, "Forget this."
Yeah, maybe he did.
So that could be like plausible.
Sure.
And then the last one we're going to come to, the prime suspect that we know
Is the only one who got put on trial for it.
right, Lizzie Borden herself. And she was at the house the whole day
Correct.
when this was going on. And it gets tricky here because she changed her story a couple times.
She did.
You know, and supposedly she changed her story because she was given a sedative. She was given morphine by the doctors when the doctor and police showed up, you know, when they called and said, you know, somebody broke into our house and our mother and father have died. And she said there was a couple of accounts where she said she was ironing. And then there was a couple of accounts where she said she was out in like the garage barn area eating pears.
Yeah, and there was another one that she was napping on the couch.
Right. So I didn't, and this gets back to my whole thing. Even if we're just looking at it from this point of, you know, like, how do you not hear something like this? So I don't know. She had some stuff to gain. You know, supposedly she didn't like her stepmother.
Correct.
You know, after a while she just called her Mrs. Borden.
Yeah, she resented her.
Yeah, which I don't know why. I don't know like the family struggle. And supposedly like this family had some heated debates. It wasn't just like this was, you know, happy-go-lucky family and there was just one child that was just, I guess you would say, a delinquent or out of control. But there was a lot of strife in the family, you know, from the stepmother, the father himself, you know, the uncle that came there, Emma herself too. So Lizzie, the prime suspect.
So here's like another thing when I was doing my research that it said Lizzie and her stepmother usually ate their meals separately. And that Lizzie like resented her mom, or stepmom, and described her as not even a mother to her friends.
Yeah, because when the police actually did, you know, come to the house, she did say to the officer when they're like, you know, your mother and whatever, and then she's like stopped the officer, whoever was in, you know, questioning her at the time, and she said, "This is not my mother. She is my stepmother."
Correct. And then also like her and her father didn't have the best of relationships either. There was one report that she made like a birdhouse that she put in the barn, and like the dad would kill like the pigeons.
Yeah, but then I also heard reports too that she was the one who like decapitated the pigeons as well.
Correct. Yeah.
So
I read that too.
I don't know if this is something that, where the family was kind of that screwed up. Maybe they all were. I don't know. I mean, that's the big question. And this has been what? Well over, almost 200 years now that it's coming to kind of a head.
Sure. And then also, like 3 years prior to the murder, I don't know if you read this, that she stole like jewels and other like jewelry from the master bedroom.
Yeah.
And that she was known like around town for like being a shoplifter.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So
now, could that be because of the family, like the way that they controlled money and like the way the father seemed to control the money? And you look at it and you say like, all right, these two daughters kind of resent the fact. Now imagine you go to school, you have friends and that are around town, and you're kind of young. I mean, you're 30, so I feel like you should know a little bit better. But at the same time, if you feel like that you're almost entitled to like this money, I mean, the guy's 70 years old. How much longer is he actually going to live? Maybe he
took care of that.
Yeah, maybe he could actually work a little bit longer and make that inheritance go up a little bit. I don't know. Like this is.
So let's get to.
You want to go to the trial?
Yeah, get to the trial.
So when the police show up, though, they start questioning people and getting their alibis and stuff. And like you said, they question the uncle when he comes back, and they question Lizzie. They brought her in, and I think it was like 10 months afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
They finally like arrested her and brought her in, and kind of, she didn't have an attorney present with her at the time. That's why kind of when they did the whole trial, which was about a year later for the trial, they kind of threw out some of the questioning that the police did, because there was not. And a lot of people say that the lawyer did this on purpose, because then he knew it would be admissible in court of law, and they would have to throw it out.
Why not? Yep.
And there's a lot of parallels. They look at this story with the O.J. Simpson case, where like she had a really good attorney who knew what he was doing, and there was a lot of, I guess, mishandling things by the police.
Yeah, mishandling evidence and stuff like that, or statements, or
yeah, because the police, from what I read, I don't know how true this is too, and we'd have to like dig a little deeper. Was like most of the police force that was in this small town was not there at the time. I forget where they were, but there was only a handful of people. And also when they were questioning, the people in the house, you wouldn't suspect a woman to kind of do this. So it's not like they would look deeper into, Lizzie herself.
Well, yeah, they were saying, the police reports were saying that they didn't really suspect her at first, just because of the brutality of the injuries, as well as like the force that it takes to make these kind of like gouges. And I think, was she right-handed or left-handed?
I don't remember.
Because I forget which one. Like the injuries like indicate it was a left-handed person or a right-handed person, and she was like the opposite-handed person. So that's like another reason why they didn't suspect her in the beginning.
Right. And then later on too, there was a lot of testimonies that were kind of implementing, or not implicating that she did it. Like they talked about where the family members saw her burning a dress, and she said like,
yes, 3 days after the murders, she was seen like burning a blue like corduroy dress,
and she said there was paint on it.
Which, come on,
that raises red flags, right? And she did change her story, right? If you look at because you can go online and look at the murder photos, and that was another thing that police used to kind of look at the crime scene, kind of get a better picture of it, I guess you could say, of how like everything was set up, and like so nothing could be like disturbed when they were taking these photographs. And she said, when her father came home, she helped him like kind of get on the couch and take a nap, and she said she took off his boots, but if you look in the photographs, his boots are still on. And then supposedly, here's another thing, I don't know, I guess they would get this from Lizzie herself, but her father asked where Abby was, and then she said, she received a note that a friend was ill, and she went to see the friend. So I guess he took it at face value and laid on the couch and kind of passed out.
Yeah.
Now, if you were passed out, just on a side note, if you were passed out on this, like couch, And do you think you would feel like those first couple blows, or like after the first or second blow, you're done?
I think you would feel the first one, and then hopefully it knocked you out.
Because it looks like he's still in like that sleeping position.
It does.
If you look on the
unless
the
like the
photographs.
first blow like really just like either killed him or knocked him out.
I mean, his face was mangled. I mean, you could see it from the photographs. We have pulled up.
Looks like the Joker.
It looks worse than the Joker. It looks like almost like he put his face in like that garbage disposal and like chewed half of it up. They said like his eyeball was like split in half. His nose was like off. Just
do you think like? Let me ask you this question: do you think when people do this, because like murders happen all the time, do you think the person doing the killing like looks at this, like looks at every blow and looks at the like what they're doing, or just like closes their eyes and just hacks away?
No, I think you would have to look, because what if you like didn't and like you missed?
I'm just saying, like, because would you want to? I don't know. Would you want to see that happening? Like
This crime to me just screams like a passion crime. Like you have to have a lot of rage towards these two people. And I don't know, like if the uncle, like, we can throw out our theories, but like the uncle, he wasn't around much. Like what would be his like motivation for like really despising both of them?
Yeah.
Like I could see, and same thing with like the angry business partner. Like, why would you go in the house and murder, the wife, but leave the maid and leave the, the daughter, Lizzie?
Yeah, leave witnesses.
Yeah.
Potential.
And then wait an hour and then kill,
So-
Andrew.
She was acquitted at trial because the jury didn't
There was not
didn't
enough
think
evidence.
beyond a reasonable doubt that they proved that she actually did it. Like they couldn't, give sufficient evidence. So she was acquitted of the
Yeah, they had nothing to go on, right? There was
of
no
the charges.
because the murder weapon supposedly that they found was in the basement, and the handle for the hatchet was missing. That could have been burnt, right? And I forget. Like,
Imagine it broke while she was doing it.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but it was in like some type of like cleaning agent, So could that be another giveaway that it was
That and like there
family?
wasn't blood on her. There wasn't like she didn't really have any blood residue on her or anything like that. So they couldn't really tie her to the killings.
No, all they had was like this misinformation, right? Her story changed a bunch of times.
Okay.
Like that's really what they had.
Yep.
And I think that's like the only thing that they had. And a lot of people speculate too that she committed these murders naked, or that she was wearing the one dress
That would be awesome.
and she put like the other dress over, the dress that she was wearing to commit it. And that's the one that she eventually took
Burned,
off and
yep.
then burned. So there was a lot of.
There's so many like reasons though that she, like to see that she did do it. Like a week or a couple days beforehand of the murders, she went into the drugstore and tried to buy poison.
Yeah. And the family, which we didn't even talk about, days before, were experiencing something like, because the mother even went to the doctors and said, Abby, she said, I don't know, like, could we have eaten some type of bad bread, to give us all like this stomach bug? And they all seem to have it. So maybe it was an attempt early by somebody in the family
Sure, just to poison them.
to poison them. And if Lizzie was the one who actually went to the store and buy it, like,
I mean that
that
is the
raises
report.
another flag.
Yeah,
right?
that's a report that she went to the drugstore and tried to buy poison.
Yeah.
And you also got the fact that she was a known shoplifter, known like to steal stuff. So could it be possible like that she was like again like stealing stuff from like the stepmother? And the stepmother caught her, maybe. But another thing is she was the only one in the house.
Besides the maid.
Besides the maid, yeah. She was the only one in the house at home. And for it to be somebody else, right? For the mom to be killed roughly around like 9:30, and then the dad to be killed at 11. That's an hour and a half between the killings that somebody would have had to hide in the house.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you just knock off the other two people that were in the house?
Correct. And then just wait for the dad to come home.
Yeah, unless you were trying to throw people off and saying, like this is the way I would think about it. Like
Well, yeah, if
I
you were
killed
trying
them
to set her up or something like that and make it not seem like it was you, yeah, of course.
Yeah, not only that, you were like, all right, what was that, Jack Reacher, where they like killed a bunch of people, but they were like their
Yeah,
main
they were only
target.
focusing on the one person. Yeah, I get that.
Maybe that person could have killed the maid too, right? Because then you would only have Lizzie in the house, and then everybody else is dead.
But like here's like to my other point though, of how didn't you hear anything? Like, so you always had, like, even if they wanted to do that, let's say they wanted to set up Lizzie or the maid, you would run the risk of somebody hearing it and coming upstairs. So then you would have to kill that person too.
Yeah, when I look at this case, I mean, there's a lot of red flags on Lizzie. So just
well, yeah, and the fact that the maid said she was upstairs giggling.
Yeah, that's one thing, right?
Like like a maid that lives with you, like somebody, the person that you live with, like their little laughs or their little
of course
things, so you know when it's them.
Yeah, and a lot of people said too, this is just a theory that people have been throwing out kind of recently, and a lot of people say that it holds a lot of water, was that her father was abusive and that used to like rape her, maybe even like the other sister. And maybe that was some reason like why they never married or anything. And there's also another theory that Lizzie was gay and she was
I
she
heard
was with
that.
the maid. So
that could be possible.
yeah. So I don't there's plenty of theories that go along with this, but I don't know if you want to break it down. Like obviously she was acquitted. There was not enough evidence, to try Lizzie, and nobody else, like you said before, was put on trial or even really heavily questioned more so than Lizzie herself.
Yeah.
And when you look at this,
I mean, even when you look at like the doors are always locked in the house, there was nothing stolen, there was no signs of forced entry, so somebody had to have known or been let in the house. That could be like another possibility too, like maybe she let somebody in the house. But again, the neighbor said that they didn't see anybody coming or going.
Yeah, but how well are they really watching the house?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just,
I mean, it is August. Maybe you're outside doing yard work and other things like that. What?
Mowing the lawn and your
Mowing the
John
lawn.
Deere.
That's right. Getting it done.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If you had your theories, like, break it down. Like,
my theory
yeah,
is she killed him.
she did it.
Oh, yeah.
100%?
I would say 90% certainty, sure.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the other 10%? Why?
Just other factors that, maybe it was the maid. Maybe it was, somebody else that the family knew that they just let in the house. Or one of them let in the house.
True.
Maybe it was the uncle. That was back in the house. Like, you wouldn't think anything of the uncle being back in the house.
What if you had, like, a scenario where, like, Emma and Lizzie, like, almost like...
I thought about that
Emma
they did
was,
it
like,
together.
the mastermind, and Lizzie was kind of like that fragile mind.
Sure.
And Emma did had the most to gain, and she's like, listen, we're going to do this. We're going to try, you're going to poison the family. And then...
When that didn't work, yeah.
Yeah, then, like, the next day, like, we had to think of something else. And
sure.
Like, all right, I'm going to go out of town. You just take care of it.
See, but, like, then, like, they should have brought the maid with... I don't know.
Like, Emma should have brought the maid with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that leaves Lizzie at the house. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't even turn around and blame it. Like, because if it wasn't... I don't think that's, like, that theory really holds any water just because...
No, I think it was Lizzie herself. She killed the mom upstairs. That's why the maid heard the giggling upstairs. And then when the dad came home, like, I'm sure she, like, put something in the door so no one could come in. Like, if the dad showed up unexpectedly back in the house.
Very true.
So that's why the door wouldn't open when he came home. Closed that room off. Said the mom was doing whatever. The maid came back in, started to take her nap. Perfect time when the dad came home, when he took his nap, to kill him.
Yeah.
And then you say, like, somebody broke in later. Okay, if somebody did break in, would you claim? Where's the signs of the break-in? Like, where's the maid? Like, wouldn't you scream? Like, if somebody broke in your house, you would hear it. Number one, like somebody walking up the steps. I'm sure, like those old wooden houses, you would hear it.
Yeah, from the videos when they were walking up the steps, it was just like a typical thing, like no more or less, because they were carpeted.
Well, yeah, now, right? Were they carpeted back then?
Well, I mean, even if they weren't fully carpeted, I don't know. Like, I don't know, like, the details of the house or how it was, like, really constructed, like, during the time of the murders. But you could have, like, runners
Okay.
where you would put down. But even the runners make noises because, the metal part,
Yeah.
if you actually hit that metal part, it would like make a sound.
So like if somebody did break in, if somebody did kill them, I think the maid and Lizzie would both hear them before the murders took place.
You would.
And see, like this is where technology would be great to have like back then, is you could tell like how long they were sitting there for.
The bodies.
Yeah.
Well, when they found the father, the supposedly the father wasn't there for that long because like the blood was still like,
it didn't coagulate yet.
Yeah,
and it was,
where the mother, hers was.
So like if somebody did break into your house, cool. He sat there for an hour and a half while you were inside the house. Like that's why it doesn't hold water to me that somebody broke in.
No, I definitely think if getting into my theory, it was definitely Lizzie.
Yeah.
I would say 99% sure it was her.
Correct.
Just because of her testimony. Yeah, you're on morphine, whatever. They're calming her nerves. Like there's a lot of things. Like she's burning a dress. She was outside eating pears at the time, or inside ironing.
Plus, like the hatchet was being cleaned.
Yeah, the hatchet was being cleaned when they found it. Who the hell knows? Like if that was the actual hatchet or was there another one, that was used. It was a crime of passion. We know she didn't like her stepmother.
Sure.
Because they didn't eat together, and that was a custom back then. they didn't get along. She called her Mrs. Borden.
Yep.
When the police asked her, she said, "That's not my mother. That's my stepmother." Like, who says that at the time when they were murdered?
Yeah.
She eventually took that money and bought a house on the hill with her sister. Which, here's another thing too. Like, her sister left.
Yeah.
Like, years after they were living, and they never spoke again until they died.
Yeah, that's another like weird.
So maybe like
dynamic.
The sister knew something, or she's like,
or maybe the sister was afraid that she was going to get killed for the money.
Right. Maybe that was the case too. I thought about that too when she left.
But no one would really know just because Lizzie died ultimately of pneumonia.
Yeah, she did at age 66. In the 20s. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like when this happened, when you think about like 1892, and then when she died in like the 1920s, you almost feel like that's not too far away.
But it is.
But it is
30 years.
Even like from today. Like when I hear 1892, I'm like, oh, that's way back in the day.
Yeah.
But then you hear like 1920s. Oh, that's not too far off.
Yeah, it's 100 years ago.
Yeah, but it doesn't. This
130 years ago.
That's a long time, man. And it's just, this one, I really think, as much as we can't, like, if you want to look at it a court of law, and we say, look at it from a court of law aspect.
Yeah, you can't really prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. You just have, like, suspicion, but
when you watch those, like, horror movies, or even, like, the Dateline things that I watch sometimes with the killings, when you look at it and all this stuff kind of adds up, you can't have this many flags.
No, you can't.
And say, like, oh, she didn't do it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think she did it.
Would you stay at this house? Would you go up there?
Yeah, why not? I wouldn't care just because I don't think it's haunted. I mean, it's eerie just to say, like, all right, somebody died. Like,
people say they found EVPs and sightings. And
you never know. Maybe they did. But, somebody just killed somebody like that. I don't think it's really would be that creepy.
Yeah, I watched the video. I don't know. I forget which one it was, but the guy, like, they did EVPs up in, like, the attic part. It was funny. I guess they were, like, trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
While, like, everybody else was sleeping in the B&B. So they were, like, sneaking around, like, asking questions. And they had, like, the spirit box. And they were asking it questions.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did who killed you? And then, it pointed to, like, Lizzie at the time. But then also, so Lizzie answered on the spirit box a couple times and said she was, like, raped. So I mean, I don't know.
There could be somebody like downstairs playing around.
I know. I don't know.
I was raped.
I don't know. Like, but it was an interesting thing, when you look at it and you watch these videos of how many people actually go there, yearly. And
well, see, that's like the always like kind of like funny thing to me. All these like murder places and like even like Pearl Harbor, let's say, like a tragedy happened and they go and like.
Well, same thing.
Take pictures about it. Like that's
same thing with the World Trade Center.
Yeah, you think that's fucked up?
Like they have a museum, but
I've been to the museum. The museum is awesome.
Yeah, but here's the thing too, right? Like we know Lizzie's name. How many people actually can name Andrew and Abby or the victims? We always know like who did it, right? Because go back
they
and
get famous.
Look at all the big names. Like you could name Charles Manson. Can you name any of his victims?
No.
I mean, even though he didn't kill it, like it was his clan.
Correct. I
But
mean, like,
I
yeah.
can name a couple, but you know, like you can't name them all.
No.
Like think of it like Ed Gein or you know all these other names. You don't know
Michael
their
Myers.
victims. Yeah, Michael Myers himself. You don't know their victims' names.
Laurie Strode.
She didn't die.
She didn't die, but she was a victim.
Sort of.
Did you see that new?
The new trailer?
No, they had an interview with Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, what was it?
It was just basically her talking about the movie,
No.
and she was like, "When I got on set, as I shared it to our Facebook page."
Oh, I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, she was like, "When I came on set, like I started to cry."
I mean, that was her first movie.
Yep.
So you have to think about like that brings back a lot of memories.
She was hot in True Lies.
You like that one scene, don't you?
Hell yeah, man! Why not?
Yeah. No, I can't wait to see that, man. October 19th. Are you gonna go? Oh, you're not around. You'll be in
I'll be in Halloween Horror Nights
Halloween Horror Nights.
in Universal.
Something I never been to.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do it up.
So I guess that's like our final verdict. We think Lizzie did it.
Lizzie did it.
That's the ultimate thing. I'm sure a lot of other people out there have the same feeling, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well,
Hopefully you enjoyed the listen.
hopefully you enjoyed the listen.
Yeah, go subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Hell yeah. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening to Case File 38. And like Greg said, subscribe to our YouTube channel and then check out our website, nightmare365.com, because all of our upcoming shows and information is on there. You know, the good October season is upon us. This is, October's
The
tomorrow.
good October season.
Hell yeah. The good
Are you
October
going to
season.
get pumpkin spice coffee tomorrow?
I don't know about.
What about a pumpkin spice latte, pumpkin
It's the same
pumpkin
thing, man.
spice donut,
I probably
muffin,
will. Maybe not tomorrow,
just everything pumpkin.
but you know, my house is already decorated. Everything's up. I'm gonna put up some lights tonight. It's gonna be good, man. So, thank you, and until next time. What are you laughing? I did want to read something. Like every story, right, has
Sure.
a good villain,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Lizzie Borden is the one who fits this bill pretty well. And history has its mysteries. So every story needs a villain, and I think Lizzie Borden in this case fits the bill very well. This is a history mystery that will be unsolved forever, I think. And if we look at this, whether you believe Lizzie is innocent or guilty, we all could agree on one thing. The curious mind, we all have our own opinion. So until next time,
Stay spooky.